I'm here for another Nightmare review. Nightmare, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. This movie's just complete shit. I'm just gonna say it right now. So far, the worst Nightmare movie I've watched. A lot of people say 4 and 5 are pretty bad. A lot of people say 2 is bad. Personally, I don't think 2 is that bad. 4 and 5 weren't great, but oh my god, this is bad. Okay, so the story is, they don't even explain how Freddy comes back. Because in the fifth one, doesn't, like, Sister Mary get his soul or some shit? Like, after seeing the ending of the fifth one, they don't even, he just comes back. There's no explanation how he just comes back. He just shows up. And then the fucking Wizard of Oz shit, when he was in the fucking, on the broom, on the witch outfit. Freddy was a joke in this movie. And I like his performance. He's like one of the only, and that was the other thing. None of the characters were likable. Like I can't even say definitively. Freddy's the only character I liked, and he was the villain. That's the worst part. He's the villain. I was like kind of rooting for him. The main character, her name is Maggie, aka Catherine. She's Freddy's daughter. So she's having dreams, and this kid, his name is John. He was in the beginning. So she works at this like youth shelter where there's other kids. Spencer, played by Breckenmeyer. Then there was Tracy. I don't remember. She apparently, her story is she was like a little touched by her dad, molested basically. And then there's Carlos, who was deaf. But so, and apparently John has like a newspaper picture of Freddy's wife, which they go to Springwood in a van, and then the town's just completely crazy. I mean, dude, this movie is just dumb. And I mean dumb, not even like horror movie standards dumb. It's just dumb. Like, there was a sequence where they're going into school, and I thought I was watching a dream sequence. I didn't even know if it was a dream sequence or if it was real. There was just so much wrong with this movie. There's just one. And then the ending. Yeah, Freddy got his ass kicked a lot in this movie, too. Okay, I'll say some positives, but there's only, personally, only, 2 things from this movie. One, I did like even though a lot of people may hate this, the power glove scene. Some people are like, oh my god, that's fucking cheesy. At least it was entertaining. I'll give it that. That was, probably the most entertaining part of the movie. And then when he kind of go into Freddy's mind, that was kind of cool, but some of the dream sequences weren't bad. Sequences were bad. It's just, the movie was just, this was supposed to be the final one, even though it technically wasn't, because Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which I'll review tomorrow, comes out 3 years later. It's just, if this was supposed to be the ending, at least with Jason Goes to Hell, while I hate that movie, I still hate it, but at least it somewhat ended Jason better, even though none of it made fucking sense, but at least it was better than fucking blowing him up. Okay, I'm gonna write on this part. When did Catherine or Maggie, whatever you want to call her, when the fuck did she learn how to use throwing knives? All of a sudden, she became combat. I've always hated that. That's the one thing I've always hated. All of a sudden, the main character doesn't show any signs of knowing how to fight or whatever. And all of a sudden, they're fucking doing kung fu and shit. With Sydney, it was realistic, you know. Sydney was defending herself. It was realistic, but Maggie was throwing knives like she's a fucking pro. And I'm like, the fuck? When the fuck did she learn how to use throwing knives? There's just no likable characters. Doc was okay, but he was only in a couple of scenes. He wasn't really in the movie all that much. But I ain't gonna lie, the dream sequence when he beats the shit out of Freddy was kind of funny. But just, oh. And then, okay, so she goes into the dream. So she goes in Freddy's head, and then you find out that killed like a bird or class pet. I don't really think they ever showed what he killed, but it sounded like a bird. But whatever he killed it with a hammer. Then he shows him getting abused, and then apparently he kills one of his. This is when he was younger, and then you go to the moment when he's about to be burned, and they actually show you the demon giving him the powers, which I actually do like that scene. I actually think that was kind of cool showing us that. But then it gets stupid. So, and then she sees as a kid, and then that was the other thing. Why couldn't they find a little girl that kind of resembled the actress that played her? At least the hair color. They look so much different. Because as an adult, Catherine has like, her hair looks black. And the little girl has light brown hair. The little girl in the dream sequence, not saying she was bad, it was just like, you couldn't find a little girl with dark, either her hair, I don't know if her hair, Maggie's hair was dark brown or black. It was one of those two. But the actress who they had play the little girl, her as a little girl, her hair was like super light brown. I'm like, they look nothing alike. And so, yeah, so she brings Freddy to being Freddy, she brings Freddy to the real world, and there was a scene where he's not burned. Which, when did he learn how to not unburn himself? Because if this is the real world, doesn't he not have powers? Like, I guess he still has powers, but when did he learn not to get rid of his burn marks? Because if he could have just did that and then just went somewhere else and, like, it just, I didn't understand it, but, so he acts like, oh, I'm changed, and then he tries to kill her. Then they fight, and this is one of the worst horror endings, at least in my opinion. So, it's his daughter versus father, and basically Doc and Tracy are locked out. She takes the glove away from him. Then she proceeds to throw him with throwing knives, which she threw like a pro, like I was saying, like she fucking knew she was doing what she was doing. And then she stabs him with a crowbar. She puts the glove on and stabs him, and then sticks a pipe bomb in his chest, and he blows up. And that's how it ends. God, this movie was just bad. I'm sorry. There were some funny parts, but oh my god. Definitely one of the worst Nightmare movies. It's worse than 4 and 5. At least 4 and 5 were okay. You know, they weren't great, but I mean, I'll give the movie, it had a decent soundtrack. I'll give it that. The soundtrack actually did not sound that bad. But it was just bad. It's just all around, it was a bad movie. Definitely one of the weaker entries. Honestly, if you really want to watch the ending to the Freddy saga, just watch Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow, and I'll review it again tomorrow. It's definitely better than this. So if I had to give Freddy's Dead a rating, I'd give it like a 3. Okay, no, it's a little too low. I'll give it a 4. And that is a little bit high because it deserves worse than that. So let me, guys, comment on the comment section. I want to know what you guys think of it. It's definitely one of the weaker entries. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Signing off. Peace.